بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear students, this is our 7th lecture. It talks about the vowels of English. It is chapter 5, starting from page 79. Actually, sounds in English are divided into vowels or consonants and consonants actually. Up to this point, we've been dealing with consonants, description and distribution of consonants. Now we have a major transition to the description and distribution of vowels. So, a question is good to be asked here. How do vowels differ from consonants? In other words, what are the differences between vowels and consonants? Phonetically speaking, that is, in terms of the actual pronunciation of sounds, vowels and consonants, we have stated before that consonants are produced with various types of obstruction to the airflow, which means the airflow does not go out freely. There is always one or two organs of speech which are hindering completely, partially, or even approximately the air from passing freely. A complete obstruction, for example, is noticed in the pronunciation of the sound p, p, when the two lips are pressed strongly together, stopping the air completely from passing outside. A partial obstruction is the obstruction noticed, for example, in the pronunciation of sh sound, when the tongue is raised to be in partial contact with the roof of the mouth and partially obstructing the airflow from going out. The air still can go out, but with friction. And sometimes there is an approximate obstruction, just like the one we have in the pronunciation of re sound. Re sound. In re sound, there is no complete or partial obstruction to the airflow, but still two organs of speech are approximating each other. So in all these cases, we have obstruction. It means the airflow doesn't go out freely. On the other hand, in vowels, we have no obstruction to the airflow, or to the airstream if you like, which means the air goes out through the mouth freely without being stopped or hindered. The organs of speech do not prevent the air from going out of the mouth. Actually, whenever anyone wants to go to the doctor, for example, and the doctor wants to check the inside of the mouth, the doctor usually asks the patient to say ah, because ah is a vowel. And in the pronunciation of a vowel, the oral cavity is almost open and clear so that the doctor can see very well. So here you can imagine what do we mean by the organs of speech do not stop the air from going out of the mouth. Moreover, we have other differences in terms of phonetics, which are vowels are always voiced. They are all voiced. While consonants are either voiced or voiceless. Okay? All vowels are voiced. It means there is vibration in the vocal folds when we pronounce the vowels. But in consonants, some of them are voiced, just like the word z, but some of them are voiceless. There is no vibration in the vocal folds, just like the sound s. Okay? Now, all vowels are oral, which means in the pronunciation of all vowels, the air is pushed out through the oral cavity, through the mouth. While in consonants, some of them are nasals and some others are orals, which means in some consonants, the air is pushed out through the mouth, which is an oral sound, just like the sound but some others are nasals, just like the sound m, n, and n. On the other hand, all vowels are oral. E, a, u, o, oral. So, when we pronounce the vowel sound E, for example, the airflow is pushed out freely without any obstruction in the vocal tract. My students try to practice the difference between E and T. E, the air goes out freely, it's a vowel. And T, you can feel that there is a complete obstruction when the tip of the tongue is raised to be in touch with the alveolar ridge. Okay, and the air is trapped for a short time behind the alveolar ridge before it bursts out with explosion. Now, we come to phonology. How can we phonologically differentiate between consonants and vowels? Consonants are always found in the margins that are the onset and the coda of the syllable, while vowels are found under the peak, or sometimes we call it the nucleus of the syllable, the heart of the syllable. Let's take an example. In the word book, for instance, we have two consonants, b and k, and we have one vowel which is u, book, book. The consonant b, as you can see in the diagram here, falls under the onset, and the consonant k is under the coda. So both onset and coda are occupied by consonants, while the nucleus is always occupied by the vowel, which is u. So sounds that are found here and here are often consonants, and sounds that are found here under the nucleus are often vowels. If you remember, when we describe consonants, we used to depend on 3 criteria. Do you remember them? I leave this for you to refresh your minds. Do you remember the criteria used for the description of consonants? Just try to remember and refresh your minds. Now, the description of vowels requires the following criteria, different criteria actually from the ones we used when we want to describe a consonant. Lips rounding, the shape of the lips, is a criteria used in the description of vowels. Tongue height, the height of the tongue inside the mouth when we produce the vowel. And the third criteria is called tongue position or tongue advancement, which means which part of the tongue is most raised inside the mouth in the description of the vowel. One of these criteria is easy to describe, one of these 3, while the other 2 are difficult. Which one of them is the easy one here, and which 2 are the difficult one? I leave this for you to think about and give me your answers. Thank you for listening. I wish you the best of the best. Thank you, my students. Bye bye.